Great. Well, welcome everyone to this month's Workday 101 Lunch and Learn. Our topic is the Workday Help Center. I'm Nikki Sitton. I'm an HR technology change management specialist, and I'll be facilitating today's Lunch and Learn. I have two Workday Help Center experts on the call today, and we'll start off with Daniel Pager. He's our human resources analyst for people services, and he'll be narrating the slides today. Thank you so much for being here today, Dan.
Well, you're so very welcome. Looking forward to sharing with everyone.
And then I also have Rachel Kazaniga. She's an HR specialist for People Services, and she'll be completing our demonstrations today. Thanks for joining us today, Rachel.
Hi, everyone.
We welcome your questions and invite you to use the Q&A feature in Teams to submit your questions to our experts. If you do not see an answer to your question, please check out the next edition of the Workday News, Views, and FAQs for the answers to all of today's questions. And of course, you can always reach out to People Services as we will demonstrate later today. All right, I want to take this time to remind everyone that there is a new announcement tile on your Workday homepage, and it is for the Workday 101 sessions. If you need an invitation, or maybe you deleted an invitation, or you know somebody that's new to the organization that would benefit from joining us for these Workday 101s, please direct them to the announcement tile on your Workday homepage. Here's our agenda for today. Dan will tell you all about people services and how they are structured, discuss the tier support system and the case process. Then we will shift to Workday with Rachel for a tour of the Workday Help Center, including many of our self service tools and shortcuts. And finally, Dan will go through the Ask HR ticket lifecycle step by step. So, Daniel, let's start off by answering the question, what is people services?
Well, first and foremost, we are your peers. SSM People Services are employed by SSM, headquartered in the corporate offices here in St. Louis, Missouri. Although we are from St. Louis, we service all SSM regions, ministries, and satellite locations. The People Services team is divided into tiers. Our Tier 1 team members answer all incoming phone calls and ask HR tickets. It is the responsibility of our Tier 1 team to answer questions or propose solutions to all inquiring parties, and, more importantly, help guide them to where they can find the answer themselves. Our Tier 1.5 team acts as something of a supervisory role for our Tier 1 team members, guiding them when difficult or vague situations occur, while also monitoring Tier 1 performance, offering coaching and counseling when needed. Now, our analyst, that's me, reviews all incoming cases and sorts them into unique buckets. The compiled data is shared with the People Services Manager, who presents the trending data to HR leadership and other centers of excellence. We are all managed by our fearless leader, Carmen Gellert. Next, let's dive a little deeper into the structure of our team and how it relates to answering calls and working Ask HR cases. Not only do we provide Tier 1 support on the phones, but we receive all Ask HR cases that come through. On the screen, you can see our typical process when receiving cases. Note the first step at the bottom of the service pyramid. We encourage all employees to engage in self-service. The how-to articles, reference guidelines, Workday news, views, and FAQs, our videos, LMS courses, our lunch and learns, and our Workday assistant. These all make up what we refer to as Tier 0 support. If we are unable to assist, the Tier 1 team will reach out to their pod leader to see if they know the answer. If not, the case is sent off to a Tier 2 COE, that's Center of Excellence. These are your functional owners of various aspects of HR operations. There is a COE for benefits, leave of absence, my learning, payroll, compensation, market HR, and so much more. Once a case is sent to a COE, People Services rarely has any involvement in the outcome. If Tier 2 is unable to assist, a member of that COE will send the case over to Tier 2.5, the functional technical liaison, and from there to Tier 3, the technical owner. When a case, be it an Ask HR or phone inquiry, were to reach Tier 2.5 or Tier 3, they will determine if additional documentation is needed for either the employees, managers, or people services, and refer over to change management to ensure that everyone who needs the update receives it. This is also why you might see several employees working on your case in the Ask HR application before it is resolved. Finally, if the issue is unresolvable by our SSM teams, the issue will be raised to Workday directly by our Tier 3 team for an external solution. Next, let's talk about what specifically People Services can do to help you. So now that you understand who we are and how we function, you're probably wanting to know what People Services can help you out with. This graphic is not only pretty, but it's helpful. If you're ever wondering what you can ask for help on, think of the words People Services. Our Tier 1 team has a general knowledge in nearly all areas underneath the HR umbrella, including SSM policies, benefits, leave of absence, Workday navigation and functionality, and so much more. We like to consider ourselves Jacks and Jills of all trades in HR operations, but masters of none. For example, for payroll, we can assist with things such as guiding you to where you can go to update your payment elections, your tax withholdings, and pull your W-2s and items along those lines. We can't, however, give you guidance on how you should fill out your taxes. For benefits, we can assist you with showing and guiding you on where to enroll in your benefits, how to update a beneficiary, or create a qualifying life event. We can't, however, update your benefits on your behalf. And when it comes to onboarding, we can assist managers in how to run the Where's My Candidate report or the candidate report for HR, but we can't push anyone through the onboarding process ourselves. For compensation, we can guide you to SSM policies and show managers where to submit a one-time payment. Now, I won't go through each and every category, but hopefully this gives you a nice taste of what People Services can help out with of all the categories that you see on the screen, and when we may need to escalate it over to another team.
All right, thank you, Dan. Now that we have the basics about People Services, we're going to shake things up a little bit and go directly into demonstrations. So, Rachel, I will let you take over.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to your Workday home screen. The first thing that I'll show you is your announcements. One of the most important announcements that you can find is the Workday News, Views, and FAQs. This holds a lot of information that's beneficial to managers and then employees as well, but it's really directed towards our HR partners and our managers. It's updated every 2 weeks with beneficial information, tips and tricks, and new additions to our Workday system. If you click on this hyperlink, it'll pull up the most recent news, views, and FAQs. For example, the May 15th. Here, you'll see that we have our model, our pay, canceling unsubmitted expense reports, bereavement leave information, and then the revised payroll calendar. This is something to point out as it's really beneficial to many of our managers and HR partners. It was recently updated, so it may look a little bit different to you. Now that we're back to our Workday homepage, let's go to the menu in the top left corner of the screen. Here you'll see your apps and your shortcuts. Something to note is you can have 20 apps listed on this main screen, and you can always add or remove the order that you would like them to be in. You have your shortcuts where you can have up to 10 shortcuts available to you. Let's go to our Ask HR app. Once we click on the Ask HR app, we'll find the Workday Help Center. This has a lot of beneficial resources to everyone within SSM, managers, HR partners, and employees. Something that you'll note right away is in the Find Answers column, the absence is the very first one, and the People Services contact number is available there, along with the EAP, Employee Assistance Program information. While those aren't necessarily correlated with other absence articles, those appear first for the benefit of those going into this app so that you have all that information right away. Within the absence category under Find Answers, you'll find some different articles that might help you. For instance, Time and Absence, a guide for hourly employees. If you click on that hyperlink, you'll find information that can help your employees and guide them through the process of using the timesheet and the time clock. You would just click this hyperlink and it would take you there. You might also note that you see all of these keywords. If you search any of these keywords into Workday in the search bar at the top of the screen, you'll be able to find this article as well. For example, searching it right up here. Once you click on benefits, you'll find more articles such as changing my benefit elections, which are really helpful for those who are going through a qualifying life event. So you'll find how to update your dependents, your life or beneficiary information, or simply make changes to your medical, dental, and vision plans. Under career, you'll find different information that might be helpful to your employees, such as how to refer a candidate so that they can work on your team possibly, along with finding their applications and their current job alerts. Under compensation, you'll see my compensation and my total rewards. If your team members ever have a question about their base rates, salary, or anything correlating to their pay, they can be directed here. Under compensation, contact information will show you my emergency contacts, my work contact information, and my home address, phone, and email. This information can be beneficial if your team members ever want to update their emergency contacts or their work information, say if their work phone number is incorrect in the system. We have the Employee Assistance Program information available. And then next we do have the expenses. Something to note, you'll see that you only see a handful listed here, but there's 11 listed. If you scroll down, you can click View More, and that's where you'll find all of the articles that are available to you. For example, an in-progress expense report. This is really beneficial as expense reports are always changing and can be a little bit difficult. So if you come here, you'll find that information. Next, under expenses, we have jobs. Here you can direct your employees or you can find information yourself on how to find specific information that has to do with your job profile. For example, if you click on viewing my org chart, this article will pull up and it'll list the instructions on how to find that within your Workday profile. It'll also have articles like viewing my job details. If you click on this, you or your team members would be able to find how to find that in Workday, which can also lead them to information such as their length of service, their FTE, and different information relating to their job summary. Under leave of absence, you may be able to find information on parental leave, your regular leave of absence, if you have an employee that's going on short-term disability or long-term disability, or are just inquiring about any potential leave that they might be going on. They can open this article and then they can click on this hyperlink to be directed to the leave of absence resource guide. Under miscellaneous, you'll see that there's only a few articles, but then again, let's click view more and then find more articles that can be beneficial to you and the employees on your team, such as things to know when leaving SSM. If you ever have an employee that is choosing to separate, you can direct them to this article or you can share it with them. You can do this by clicking on the three dots up at the top of the article, click off copy article link, and then you can send that to them. You also have the option in articles to go to the bottom. If you don't find the information that you're looking for in this article, but you think it might be beneficial, you can click no next to was this article helpful, and then enter in the feedback that you think would be beneficial. It's recommended that you put your name and your contact information here so that the team that reviews this is able to get back to you. You'll want to include this information if you want a direct reply. There's a My Learning tab that has information on our My Learning resources, such as a tip sheet for finding and requesting classes for those within your team. If you click this hyperlink, it'll bring you to the LMS tip sheet page where you can find different resources such as enrolling in a class, removing a class from someone on your team, or just monitoring your team's progress. Navigating Workday will direct you and your employees on different ways to find resources within your Workday. For example, Workday 101 for hourly employees, the video library. This is always available and a great resource to you and your team. If you ever need assistance with something short, but you don't want to submit a case or call people services, you can click on one of these hyperlinks and watch a short video. Most of them are under 5 minutes long. For example, let's go down to the video, viewing your org chart.
Click the profile icon or your photo in the upper right corner. Click View Profile. Click the team icon. Your org chart will appear. Scroll up or down to view the next level in the hierarchy. Click a worker's box to view their contact information. Point your mouse in the upper right corner of the org chart to view the leadership chain.
As you can see, those videos are short and they give you the step-by-step on the processes you may be looking for. Next, we have paid time off or PTO. This is beneficial information that you can click on, such as PTO Explained, which can be shared with your team members if they may have a question on their accrual rate or how they should be accruing if they're a staff or in a management position. Under pay, the first one you'll see is pay practices. This is a newly updated article that we recommend you going through and should be added as a shortcut if you choose. It has a lot of updated information on how these pays work and can be shared with your team members if they ever have a question. Now, I mentioned you could add that as a shortcut. The way you would do that is go to the menu, click Shortcuts, then Add Shortcuts. You would type in Pay Practices, and then click this plus button to add that. Another beneficial tool that you may want to add is the payroll calendar, where you can see the simple and the detailed calendars. Like I mentioned before, the detailed calendar has recently been updated and would be beneficial to add so that you can easily share that with your team members. Again, to add that, you'd go to the menu, Shortcuts, Add Shortcuts, and then you would type in Payroll Calendar. You would want to add right here the 2023 detailed calendar and then the 2023 simple calendar. I'll click back to menu and you'll see those all listed right there. Next, we have people services. And if you ever forget after this video how you can create an Ask HR case, you can find that information right here and also how to check the status of your Ask HR case. Performance, you can find information that's beneficial on how to add your goal, how to complete your performance self-assessments, or direct your team members on how to add their skills into Workday. You'll also see that there's some hyperlinks in here. If there's still a little bit of confusion, you can click on this hyperlink and there will be a short video that can assist. Similarly, with personal information, there will be directions on how to update your gender, veteran status, or even updating your profile photo. After personal information, the next category shows information on your Workday profile. Now we have the request, where you can find different information on creating a request in Workday, such as tuition reimbursement or submitting a request to have a contingent worker added into the system. Under request, we have your resources for managers. You'll find the Workday 101 for Managers video library, and that's where this Lunch and Learn today will be saved for future reference if you ever want to go back and watch that, along with any other Lunch and Learns that you have visited or watched in the past. We have the Workday Manager Guide. This is a great tool that you might want to save as a shortcut, as it has tips and tricks on how to navigate your Workday system and create business processes for your team. We recommend saving this as a shortcut rather than to your computer or desktop. That's because this is a live document and it's always changing. And if you save it as a shortcut, it'll always save the most up-to-date resource for you. Next, we have the resources for timekeepers, where you can find the Workday Timekeeper Guide, which is beneficial to those who have a timekeeper in their supervisory organization, and also those PRN resources. There's the SSM Health Time Clock information, along with the time category. A lot of your employees can be directed here if they're ever wanting information on their timesheet, time clock, or just how to enter their time in general. We have the Workday mobile category. So if you ever need assistance getting that app set up on your phone, you can go ahead and go here. And lastly, we have the Workday news, views, and FAQs. You can find that here as well as on the home screen in Workday, which we showed you earlier. Now that we've gone through the Workday Help Center, I'm going to hand it over to Dan, who's going to show you a few examples on creating an Ask HR case in the Workday Help Center.
Now let's demonstrate how to submit an Ask HR ticket. For this example, we're going to ask where we can find some information on the public service loan forgiveness and how to request a signature from HR. Let's assume that we have tried searching our Help Center for information resources, but we weren't able to find the information that we seek. First, let's click on the Create Ask HR Case button at the bottom of the page. Under Ask HR Case Type, let's select Ask HR. This is the only option available to select at this time. In the Ask HR Case title field, please provide a short description of your issue or inquiry, summarized to around 4 to 10 words. Public service loan forgiveness information. Note that the text I enter in the Ask HR Case title field will populate suggested articles. I may be able to find my answer here, but for the purpose of this demonstration, let's continue as though we weren't able to find our answer. Here in the detailed description field, I will enter my full inquiry. Next, we'll click Add Required Details. A window will populate prompting me to enter in the best callback number. Once I have my number submitted, I will then click Create Ask HR Case. My Ask HR ticket has been sent to the People Service Tier 1 team for review. I should expect to receive a response here soon. Whenever an action is taken in your submitted Ask HR case, you should receive a notification here in your notifications page. Let's go ahead and check our notifications. Generally, we can expect our Tier 1 team to provide response within the first 24 hours. If a ticket remains within People Services, our service level agreement requires our cases to be resolved within 2 business days, which for People Services encompasses Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. A notification will be created whenever an action is taken on your case. For example, when a case is created or when the status is changed. A notification will be created when it is assigned to a service team or to a person, when the solver adds a note to the case in the message field, and when the case is resolved. This could explain why you might receive a lot of notifications for the same case. If you have multiple Ask HR cases in play, you may receive even more notifications. Here we can see that the case that I created was assigned to Rachel Casaniga, and it is currently in progress. Our most recent notification shows that they have replied to our case. So let's go ahead and take a look at that case. They were nice enough to let us know that we can find the information in a public article here in Workday Help. We can respond to the case in our message field. I'll do so now. You can attach any notes to your case right here by clicking the paperclip. Clicking on the file and then click Open. And then we'll go ahead and click Send. The next time I receive a reply from Rachel, I should get a new notification in my Workday Notifications tab. All right, looks like Rachel gave us some additional information on our case that we can expect to receive a completed form directly. And it looks like it's been assigned to Daniel Pager in a new assignment group. Once again, here in our notification screen, we can see that there have been several updates recently. We see that our case has been replied to, then reassigned to a new agent and also to a new service team. It looks as though that our case has also been resolved. So let's go ahead and click our most recent notification and view our case. Here is Daniel's final reply showing that they had completed the form with an attachment right here. Clicking on this form will send this document to your downloads folder for your review. And we see that there is an action item for the status being changed to resolved, and the case currently presents itself as resolved. Now that we've seen the case lifecycle from within the Ask HR case itself, let's go ahead and take a look at our notifications tab. If a case has been marked as resolved and you still have some additional comments to make on your case, you have 7 days from the time of resolution to make a comment on that case. However, if you want a more expedient follow-up, we would recommend calling People Services directly or submitting a new Ask HR case, as not every agent gets immediately notified when a resolved case has been replied to. And that concludes our demonstrations in Workday.
That concludes our Workday 101 presentation on the Workday Help Center. Thank you to Daniel and Rachel for presenting today. Please remember to check out the next edition of the Workday News, Views, and FAQs for answers to all of today's questions. Make sure to attend next month's Workday 101 Lunch and Learn on Essential Workday Reports. Thank you for joining us and have a great rest of your day.